Max Verstappen's future with Red Bull might have just taken a massive hit after the latest information arriving from the new powertrain program. It seems like the rookies on the grid, as they will be labeled along with Audi in this regard, are nowhere near accomplishing their goals. But with Max's future with Red Bull hanging in the air for a longer period of time now, could this be the final nail in the coffin? And if so, who will be the first one to be blamed in the Austrian team for the loss of the four-time world champion? The situation at Red Bull is getting very intense. Although they've understood that the 2025 championship might be out of reach, even focusing on 2026 very early on could be a big problem. There seems to be a big discrepancy as to what is expected in terms of performance from the Red Bull-Ford engine partnership and what will actually be delivered on the grid. As all things stand, the Austrian team won't be nearly as competitive as originally hoped. And rest assured that this will have far bigger implications than staying in the top 5 and scoring points in a consistent manner. Max Verstappen has already admitted that there have been talks with Toto Wolff and Mercedes' leadership. And although they are not as serious as they should have been because nothing's changed in terms of his futuristic views, this development of events could definitely alter that. I don't really think that Verstappen will be very pleased to hear that most of the important parts of the new regulation, the engine, is just not meeting the criteria nor the deadlines that it needs to meet for it to be considered competitive. Let's not forget what was one of the primary reasons as to why Max would have considered leaving Red Bull in the first place: the new regulations. From 2026 onwards, Mercedes is dubbed to be the favorite to lead the grid in that regard, based on their supremacy in building competitive engines along with Ferrari. Honda could be a dark horse as well, but Red Bull's powertrain is just not there on the list. And it automatically means that Max's goal of rebranding the team from scratch and helping them get back on top will be killed even more. And let's not forget one very important thing. Verstappen doesn't want to stay in the sport for a long period of time. Now that he's become a father and the Formula One calendar keeps on growing, he could prefer spending his last years in F1 driving a super competitive car for a team that tends to listen to his feedback, which would be Mercedes. But there's one more team that would need to keep an eye on: Aston Martin. The Silverstone-based squad has all of Red Bull's former winning ingredients combined with state-of-the-art factories that would definitely put them on the map from 2026 onwards. Yes, the lineup is confirmed for the next year, and I genuinely don't think they're going to change anything unless Max suddenly becomes available. But the reality is that a driver of Verstappen's caliber is available only every once in a while. You can't bet on the fact that he'll join Mercedes, be dissatisfied with their program, and then ask for a move to your team only under the condition that Aston Martin will be better than the Brackley-based squad. All of this is putting us in a position to talk about some deeper problems here, such as the firing of Horner. Yes, many believe that it was motivated by the Verstappen family along with Helmut Marko. But now, when you hear information of this caliber regarding the powertrain of Red Bull and Ford, you ask yourself a very serious question. Are the new regulations the primary reason why Christian got fired? He's also the one that got rid of Honda's deal. Although, truth be told, the Japanese manufacturer wanted to pull back for a longer period of time, and they played the hot and cold game with Red Bull. The ultimate conclusion comes to the fact that Horner's leadership raised some questions in the last couple of years. And with the departure of staff like Newey, Kutoon, and Wheatley, you can see how big of a gap was left inside the technical department of Red Bull. What's now being led by Pierre Watch and Enrico Balbal is nowhere near enough to finally have that freedom to push for more performance, as every next upgrade comes as a limitation to the car. Add the fact that the engine is not going to perform nearly as it should from 2026 onwards, and I don't think you have any more reason for Max to stay in Red Bull. It would be a full rebuild mode in the Austrian team as well. They're not shy of young talents. They have Arvid Lindblad, who needs to be promoted sooner rather than later, and they also have Isaac Hadjar, who's showing some extraordinary pace with Racing Bulls. But being good in the Faenza-based squad is not nearly as comparable as being good in Red Bull. We saw that with both Tsunoda and Lawson, and that could be yet another reason why Max is not considering staying in Red Bull for a long period of time. Be that as it may, there are a lot of question marks that revolve around 2020 SIXS engines. And it's not just Red Bull's drop-off that we're severely worried about. What's also going on right now is the protest that the drivers are having against the regulations in general. Lance Stroll called it an experiment, while Charles Leclerc said that he didn't feel the most comfortable while driving the 2026 version of the car. All in all, it's a move that would inflict a lot of changes, starting from Max Verstappen's future with Red Bull and ending all the way to the absolute demise of the Austrian squad. If Verstappen's not there, then I don't think they'll even be in the midfield. Not if Hadjar or his teammate, who could very well be Lindblad, suddenly find a lot of pace in next year's car. But as of now, we're keeping our reservations, and we don't want to be too optimistic about Red Bull. The realistic scenario is that Max is already putting a lot of pressure on his team to find performance from this year's car, because a lot of the parts will be transferring to 2026. Giving up on the season so early and focusing on 2026 is just not in the spirit of Red Bull nor Verstappen. From this point of view, I do think that Max won't be part of the team in the foreseeable future. Maybe not in 2026, but definitely in 2027. With all of this in mind, do you think that Max Verstappen would be smart to leave Red Bull and finally focus on his own goals, which are winning a championship in another challenger? And if so, what do you think he would fit best, Mercedes or Aston Martin? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.